Okay. Right. My phone. What the? Where's my phone? Right. Yep. Genius move, Jim. Well done. In a video that I posted yesterday, I talked about how the free Moz domain authority checker on the Moz website was actually showing different stats to what Moz Pro and the Moz API were showing. Now, I'm assuming that they're looking into it because the page has changed, but it's still not showing the stats for that domain. So it's not the first time I've seen it. So I did get in touch with Moz and they've replied, I'm not entirely sure they understood what I was talking about. I'm not the best at explaining things, as I'm sure you're probably aware. But I tried to reiterate what the issue was. And I think they're working on it. Because when I use the free domain authority checker now to check a different domain, I get the stats. When I try to do the kingandempire.com, I get a 502. So server error, something's happening. Hopefully they're working on it. Hopefully they get it fixed for everyone who's relying on them, because I know there's a lot of domainers out there that do rely on these stats. So for them, it's really important. So good luck, Moz. I've got faith in you. So we're going to go find some domains today, some expiring domains. I've got the urge to have a look. Feel like it's going to be a good day. I haven't had a look yet, but let's see what we're dealing with. We're going to go to the domains section of the website, get the filters up, special options down here, choose expiring in the next 24 hours, and I'm going to shrink back the filters so I can see. Right at the top of the list, my old nemesis, revistapueblos.org. See, I've learned how to say it now. Get off my back. So I've looked at that in the past. It was interesting because it has, well, SEMrush says it has 39,000 visits a month, but when you look into that more deeply, it's actually that it used to be much, much higher than that even, but it's had a sudden drop. I assume whatever method they were using to drive the traffic has the bottoms dropped out of it basically, and it's shit the bed. So now it's actually, SEMrush is saying that today it's receiving between 1 and I think 3 or 4,000 visits a month. So, you know, that's 30 to maybe 70 visits a day on average. Not terrible. If you can get that for a decent price, you might be able to monetize that and make your money back really quickly. Let's not forget drop catching is far cheaper than getting domains at auction. So if you can grab a domain at a drop catcher and pay less than 100 quid for it, that could be well worth its money. Realistically, I think there's going to be a bit of a bidding war for that at the drop catcher that manages to get hold of it. So I don't think that'll go for less than 100, but it's notable for the traffic. But just note that the traffic on it is probably going to be closer to 1 to 2,000 a month. Going down, libgd.org. I mean, if you've got a programming library, but you know, general distribution, I don't know. libgd.org. It's a 5-character or 5-letter domain, but on a .org. I mean, it's got good stats. 33 Trust Flow, 44 Domain Authority. Very, very decent. You know, in some good categories as well. Computers, business, recreation, they're all quite decent as far as cost per click goes if you're looking to put adverts on there. So the activity chart suggests that I think personally that it was probably used for something here that they didn't do much with, had another use here and had another use here. I'm not going to look too deeply into it. Still, the stats are the stats. So, our graphics library, there you go. So, yeah, graphics library. Do we have any EDUs and government links? Government links and EDU links as well. So, not bad really. Domain authority 44, Trust Flow 33, 1,000 referring domains. I have a feeling that's probably had a fairly legitimate use in the past. I've been overlooking that one because I thought it's not going to be anything to do with the library, like a C++ library or something like that, but maybe it is. Who knows? Annoyingly, I actually quite like that one. Yeah, let's move on. Working links, we've looked at that. Points DAC2. Pointsdac2.org. I don't know what that's about really. Trust Flow 23, domain authority 44, nearly 300 referring domains, no traffic to speak of. What's the activity chart showing? Oh, lots of activity. Points DAC2. See, it looks like it may have dropped in its activity. See, this doesn't show traffic, doesn't show backlinks. This is generally an indication of activity on the website. So, adding blog posts, updating content. See, all these things, that they trigger a new snapshot from the Wayback Machine. So if it's being updated less and less, you often see this dropping. And then, so you see a downward trend here and then a sudden upward trend. I would assume that someone else has gotten it there, or the trend or the niche, the market, the topic of the website was maybe in decline there and has seen a recent increase in popularity. That does happen. Politics especially is prone to this, where it tends to go, the content cycles dip when there's not an election or there's nothing much happening. And like in the summer, for example, when most governments take the time off, there's not a lot of political activity during those times because the politicians aren't there messing with everything. They're dirty. Anyway, so what domain is it? Points DAC2. So yeah, you do get seasonality and in topics. So it might just be that you look into it. Now you can open in the Wayback Machine here, but just by clicking on that, and it'll take you straight to the Wayback Machine, so you can actually look into it yourself. I'm not going to do that on here. Just want to briefly have a look through. So you see the anchor text is showing that, or the backlinks, the anchor text for the backlinks are showing that it is presumably a French website. I mean, all the anchor texts are French.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But if you're looking for a domain for a French purpose, then that might not be too bad. What sort of website? Let's test my French. Bibliothèque, library, the public library, 40 years of internet. I don't know. So French stuff, French keywords, French stuff, French website, pointsdac2.org. Expiring tonight. See where else we're at. Pressfrancophone.org. Stats are good. I mean, the quality score from that's here. The quality score in easy expired domains is going to automatically bring the more obviously good domains to the top of the list. That's what it's there for. Created it based on just 10 years, 15, 12, 13 years I've been doing this. I don't know. It's been a long time. So yeah, we built it around the sort of weighting on different stats that I find really help to bring the good domains to the top. It's always worked for me. So yeah, so that's why when I go through these, nearly every domain I'm looking at is a banger. So that quality score is already doing a lot of the hard work for you, but I'll press on. Such an idiot. Oh, I hate myself. I hate myself so much sometimes. Let's carry on. Quantum Genomics. Trust Flow 26, 337 referring domains. It's tasty. 20 years old. Quantum Genomics. Now that's the sort of thing that you'd think it is just in its infancy. Like you wouldn't expect it to have peaked as a niche. Quantum Genomics. I feel like that's something that's going to potentially not even be in my lifetime. It might be a bit later on than that. But who knows? Backlink profile. Here again, the backlink profiles on these expiring domains, it's clean. I'm used to dealing with expired domains just because once you've found them, if you like it, it's yours straight away. You register it, costs you $10, $11, whatever it is these days. Well, that's why I really like expired domains, because you find one you like, just bosh, it's mine. With these, there's a bit more of a process. So like with auction domains, you have to, outbid each other to be the eventual winner, or buy it now as you get to pay a much higher price, but then it's yours. With expiring domains, you have to go to a drop catcher or put a back order in for it, and then hope that that company is the one that gets that back order. And then if they are, you can bid on them, and hopefully you're the highest bidder. Sometimes you get lucky and you put your back order in and you get it, and you don't have to bid against anyone, and that's a really good feeling. So let's move on. I'm taking ages. I always do. Slim Celebrity. Oh, gourmandise. If you're into food, maybe. I'd be dubious of that. Very big discrepancy. You got a 3 times multiplier from the trust flow to the domain authority. This doesn't mean that it's bad, but there's 17,000 links on Moz and 460 referring domains from Majestic. So that to me would suggest that there's been some heavy backlinking involved there. See that slimcelebrity.com it's in a similar situation. It's not quite 3x it's not quite 3x the domain authority to the trust flow, but there is a big discrepancy between the amount of links that Moz is seeing and the referring domains, and also between the referring domains and the links that Majestic is seeing. So I'm not going to look too deeply into them. Webfronter, not bad. Halloween Kennel, if you want to put your dog in a kennel for Halloween, you can bosh that one. IndianValley.net. Interesting. Oh, we got see the trust flows and the domain authority are matching. Referring domains, very representative of the amount of links. Something about that one I like. Let's have a quick peek. What we got? Dom detailers, no EDU or government links. I mean, that's not a bad sign. It's just nice to have them. You'd want to look at that one, look at the content, see what that's done over the years. And the backlinks, I don't know about that one. The backlinks are mostly to the homepage, but not completely. Ivy Museum, Indian Valley Museum. Take a look. That I'm instantly dubious, mainly because of the Wayback Machine. Yeah, that's the main concern for that one. The name itself is not bad. Linalis.com. It's a nice short one. Wonder if that means something. Detect language is detecting English. Linalis is used to treat high blood sugar levels caused by type 2 diabetes. Oh, I wouldn't want that domain then. If that's used by a pharmaceutical company, then so don't forget, if you see a domain name that is clearly a registered trademark, be very wary of that, because you don't want to be sued by them. You don't want to go up against a company that has more money than scruples. More rubles than scruples. More rupees than scroopies. So it's been redirected, so that's not a great sign. Redirected for a long time. What was it before being redirected in 2019? So in 2012, some sort of French. I don't know why I'm reading it. I don't speak. I don't speak French. I don't know what it's saying. Are your data systems an asset or a liability? Well, you let your domain go, innit? Some French kid got it. So look into it. I don't know if Linalis is a registered trademark, but if it is, just stay away from those domains, in my opinion. Paris Dance. Paris Dance. If you've got a... Jesus, if you've got a dance studio in Paris, or near Paris even, or you've got a dancing show in Paris, I mean, holy to someone, that's a really cracking domain. Really good domain to the right buyer. But that's always the case. Anything's only ever worth what someone's going to pay for it. It's just that I can see that there's probably going to be a lot of people in Paris that have an interest in dance that will want that domain. That's an interesting one, that is. Rigworker.com. What would be the monetization aspect of a domain like that? So it's probably been dropped here. It's probably been spammed to hell and back. But the stats are still decent. What the backlinks say, my guess is there's spam involved here. No spam backlinks. Now, is it possible that they relied on the stats? That they didn't build backlinks? Because that to me says that there's been a big drop here, that it was dropped at the end of 2016 and then wasn't registered again until the 2020s. For rigworker.com. Who lets these domains expire? That's what I want to know. Who in their right bloody mind is letting these domains expire in the first bloody place? Get the latest employment. Holy Jesus. So that's a fairly legitimate use. So they've not buggered the backlinks. Directional drilling. My mate used to do directional drilling. So this has been AI content driven. Quite clearly AI conversations. So there's probably AI text as well. I mean, I'm not going to hate on that. But it's been done in a way that's not damaging to the website, which I like. I like that. I like it when people aren't arseholes and just burn everything to the ground. Okay, that's interesting. So rigworker.com, bloody hell, there's a lot of good ones. I'm only halfway down the second page. I'm not going to be able to go through many more, I don't think. Meat Beer Babes. Oh, meat beer and babes. Oh, in my youth, I'd have loved some meat beer and babes. These days, just give me a steak and I'll be happy. So I'm not expecting much. My friend Dharma, meatbeerbabes.com, just to eat this ice cream? What? Got some funky anchor texts, S666. I'm assuming this has been used for something dodgy, surely. BreakingIrishNews.ie. They didn't even redirect it, they just... Is it hosted or an iframe or whatever? Either way, yeah, they've buggered it, but on a domain like Meat Beer Babes, you bloody do that yourself. But terrible sign. I didn't. This is why you use the stats. You see, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it there. I'll point. If I'm this way, I'll point there. That there. See that? 68. And then that there, that's 15. That's too big a gap. Trust flow, well, up there. Domain authority, too big a gap, yeah? So that's more than a 4x multiplier. That's straight away, that's a terrible sign. I'm going to look at that and think, something dodgy here. There's another red flag. Here, I'm going to point to there. See that there? Yeah. That says 300, and I'm going to jump across that right there. Yeah. 280,000. That's how many links there are spread across that many domains. That's too many links per domain. Big red flag. Stupidly, I did not look at them before delving deep. I got excited about the meat, the beer and the babes, obviously. Don't get caught up in a name. Oh, that's a bloody good name. I do like that. Meat, beer, babes. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to move past the meat, beer and babes. SunriseRead, sebnemferrar.info. That's not going to be anything I know anything about, is it? Art. Oh, music. I like music. SunriseRead, arts and entertainment, in the business side of arts and entertainment. SunriseRead.com. Oh no. See, we've got this again. More than a 3x between the trust flow and the domain authority. The backlinks aren't so egregious this time. It's let's see what they're looking like. SunriseRead. After the Oscar winner, Bitcoin core developer introduction. Oh, internet. Casino with 5-minute deposit. Casino minimum deposit 5 minutes. Yeah, someone's had that. They've had it. They've bent it over and they've proper done it. I'm going to choose one more to look at. HowToPedia. HowToPedia. As far as passing the radio test there, I don't want to be telling people HowToPedia. Doesn't sit right with me. HowToPedia. Maybe you want to run a website with guides. Maybe you know how to monetize them well. Might not be too bad. It's only got a trust flow of 12. Domain authority 32. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. That's the first couple of pages of expiring domains that are going to be dropping, sometime in the next 24 hours, maybe shortly after. If you're interested in any of them, get your back order in now. Try and drop catch that before anyone else. So I think I've covered everything for today. That's some of the expiring domains on Easy Expired Domains for today. I don't know if any of them spoke to you. I know Meat, Beer and Babes that's my favourite for today. I don't know if I'll try and get it. I haven't got much of a use for it other than to just look at it and go, hoo, 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 hoo. So I think I've said enough. I'll stop talking now. Bye.